not totally, because it does say as marginal income. Look here, as marginal income is used to cover its fixed cost. Right. So these costs are quite important for you to understand. If you have, always remember, even for a particular unit, if we have the cost or the selling price or the price of a shoe. Let me use this example to make it quite clear to all of you. So price of a shoe. Within this price, we need to take into account the variable cost that we spend to manufacture this shoe, and we need to take into account the fixed cost that was used to manufacture this shoe. That's why when you see sales minusing variable cost gives you the fixed cost. Quite important, because if this goes this side, we have price or sales or sell price minus variable cost gives you the fixed cost. Please play with these formulas. There is no better way for you to grasp fully and understand these formulas if you do not play with them. You need to be able to play with these formulas to understand them. All right, and the marginal cost ratio, this is just the ratio for the cost, for the marginal cost, and there is also a ratio, a percentage for the marginal income, and that ratio is always divided by sales, right? So the marginal cost ratio, you take the marginal cost, you divide it by sales times 100, because you're looking for a percentage. A ratio is a percentage. The same thing for the marginal income ratio. You're going to divide the marginal income divided by sales. But why is all this important? It is quite important for you when you are doing the calculation for break-even point. It is important. You need to understand how these costs behave, you see. So the break-even point, you can find the break-even point in terms of units. In other words, what does it mean? It simply means that how many units do I need to sell in order for me to recoup all the cost, fixed and variables that I've put in. So I hope that that is clear there. So the break even in units, when you are being asked break even and you are like, what does that mean? Is that how much money, if it is in revenue, in sales revenue, how much money do I need to make from selling my product? That will help me recover all the costs that I put in. All right. So this is not important. And we do that by using the total fixed cost, not the fixed cost per unit, but the total fixed cost. We start with total fixed cost because that one is constant, it's standard. Whether we sell something and we don't sell something, it doesn't matter. We still need to pay rent and electricity, right? You know that, right? We need to pay the rent, we need to pay all the bills, electricity. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter whether you did sell anything, but you still owe the electricity to the municipality. It doesn't matter if you didn't really the recession or COVID, it doesn't matter, but you still need to pay rent, right? For the for the factory. So these are the fixed costs. And so we take this fixed cost that is constant, we divide it by the marginal income per unit. Very important. Marginal income per unit. Marginal income per unit. And if we want to find the revenue, we divide the total fixed cost by the marginal income ratio. Play with these formulas. I understand them, but I will be limited to the level of explaining this to you. But as you know, everything has to do with economics, right? The law of demand of normal product is that everything else stays the same. Consumers will demand less. If everything else stays the same, consumers will demand less of a product if the price were to increase. If the price goes up, people will feel more reluctant to buy that particular product. But if the price goes down, everybody will rush to buy that product. So you understand that thing. And that's the reason why we need to deal with the volume. The volume is quite important because you, as an entrepreneur, will have to decide, should I produce more or should I produce less? And you need to evaluate demand in the market. Are they people really asking for this product? And if they're asking for the product, then there you go, you sell more. If they're asking less, then there you go, you need to produce less. Otherwise, there will be quite a lot of your stock or inventory that will not be sold. And this is quite important. The total fixed cost equal plus the target profits. So if, for instance, we have a particular target that we want to reach, let's say we want to reach maybe 5K of profit. Remember, all these calculations was to help us to find the break even. Break even means where we make zero profit. Break even, it's where we make zero profits. But why are we saying this zero profit? Is it something glorious to say? No, it's not about that. It's not about something glorious to say. It's more about the fact that when we make zero profit, it's an understanding that we have covered the points where we have sold enough to be at zero profit and zero loss. Means that we have covered all our costs, because before, for producing anything, we need to make some costs. We need to spend some money to get money. But even when we spend the money, we have produced the product and we are selling out the product and we are getting money in. Remember the toilet paper. We are selling the toilet paper. We invested money. We made costs to produce this toilet paper. And when we are selling this, we are getting money in, coming in, because people are buying. They are sending us money, mullah. They're giving us money for the product. But now we need to find the point where we will recoup all these costs that we have made. So yes, we're getting revenue, but the total revenue should equal the total cost for us to have recovered all the costs. But when we arrive at this point, it's a good point because we call it the break even. Now, from now on, everything we are selling, we are making a profit. So let me check again. Rabia, how are we doing? Does it make sense? Is it quite simple, easy, clear? Amazing. All right. So, okay. So this is what you need to understand about this chapter. But still, you need to do some calculations. Now you understand the logic behind the whole why you are being taught these things. Is that in your future business, you need to know these principles. Yes. But now you need to get down to the nitty-gritty of it. You need to get down to the actual calculations. And that's where you need to understand these formulas and play with these formulas. And I will finish with only one thing. Still my 15 minutes left to finish, but I want to consecrate some of my minutes to this because I love this. I love this. Let me see if, okay. So I will touch this. This will explain you more what I'm trying to tell you. Is that we understand there is a fixed cost. We can call, maybe we can say rent, but everything that is fixed that we need to pay every single month, it doesn't matter our level of production, we need to pay it. One of them is obviously rent. We need to pay rent. Okay, cool. But you understand that these 50,000 include more than rent, right? There's other items that we need to spend every single month that we need to do. Electricity perhaps can be one, but also you must be careful with electricity because sometimes electricity can go up and down depending on our level of production. So that's why some costs can be called semi-fixed or semi-variable cost. You need to understand that principle, okay? But there are costs that are definitely fixed because we need to pay them no matter what, right? So as you can see here, the fixed cost is here on this particular, remember again, this is a nice function. It's quantity. We're looking at the volume. Always remember quantity, volume. All right, cool. And then on this side, we have the rand price and all that. Okay, so um, zero quantity, we have produced nothing, but we still have this cost to pay. The fixed cost curve. Yeah. But then this is our variable cost. Of course, our variable starts from zero and then goes up. This is our variable cost. So if you can read this at 500 units, how much are we making? These are questions that you need to answer. And that's where it requires you to understand the formula. But here it is. At point E, we have this beautiful break-even point. So what is being said here is that we will reach a break-even point when we come to this exact value number. So at 243,000 K, we will reach, so we are selling, right? We are selling. Look at this curve. Look at this line here. This is the total revenue. As we are selling, we will recoup our money. Total cost curve. We will recoup all the cost we've made, all the total cost we've made at this point. Remember again, I told you, total revenue equal total cost. It's at this point, point E, that happens. Now from here, every money that we are making becomes a profit. So this, if you can say, on this line, all this is profit we're making. This is profit that is coming to the business. We're making money, profit. Whether or not it's enough profit, that's another question. That's for you to determine depending on the objectives that you have of the business. If you want to make X amount of profit, it's up to you. But as you can see, this from 250 to 400, all this is profit that we're making. So 150,000 has been made in profits just here. Just here. You see, this is total profit that we are making. I love these tools that I'm using, and I hope that you are getting really the best out of all these explanations. By the way, all this I will try my best to make it available to you for you to have it if you need it. I'll make it available to you. But you need to give me a bit of time because I'm working on your Ask Task 4 and I'm done with Ask Task 4. Ask Task 4 will be a good thing for you to test yourself. So every Ask Task that I'm sending you, test your knowledge and your reading of a particular learning unit. If you are not reading a particular unit properly, you will fail the Ask Task. If you pass the Ask Task, definitely you are reading the particular read. So I make time properly to do the Ask Task to make sure that, and it's multiple choices, obviously, but you need to think really hard. And I can find out if someone's been reading the the textbook or not. It's quite easy for me to know. All right, so these are the explanation. But as you can see, you have the total cost curve. Look here, the variable cost curve is here. And what happened is that you take this, the fixed cost plus the variable cost. If you can see, this curve here, this curve is parallel to this one. It's we take this one, we add here. We take this one, we shift it there. That's where it gives us the total variable, the total cost. It is the addition of the fixed cost plus the variable costs. That's how we find our total variable cost. And remember again, if therefore the total revenue equal the total cost, this is the break even. Break even. Okay, so in terms of unit, look at the break even, look at here. In terms of unit, look at, we will reach break even at how many units? at 415 if we round it 0.72 units. So at 415, I don't know if you can get half a fraction of a unit. That's why we need to round this. We're rounding this to 416 units. At 416 units, we break even. We break even. So it is gonna be here. When we reach 416 units that we have sold, we will break even. And if the total revenue equal the total cost, and the total cost equal the fixed cost plus the variable cost. So the total revenue, when we come to the break even, equal the fixed cost plus the variable cost. So what if we're looking for the fixed cost? Then total revenue minus the total variable cost gives us total fixed cost. Play with these formulas as much as you want. Rabia, will you play with these formulas? They're quite easy. I hope that you are understanding this. And I hope all of you are following from home, that you understand this. Understand these formulas because they will help you. If you properly understand them, then any question that comes to you is like a game. Is like a game, because remember, always you will have the selling price per unit, the variable cost per unit. That's why they're giving it to you. Why are they giving it to you? Selling price and variable cost. Why? Because they want you also to be able to find out, look at the total fixed cost per unit. You can find actually through this. You can find the fixed cost per unit, per ton. Sorry, here it is ton. So you can find the fixed cost per ton by just taking the selling price minus the variable cost. So quite easy, although it is always true, everyone, that we would have enjoyed much more time, but already we have covered quite a lot. And so I would prefer to leave it here and to wait for you. Remember that these are supposed to be tutorials, and I'm supposed to hear from you. But I understand that, you know, there is a bit of pressure, but always remember, you're a tertiary level student, you're reading, and I did even give you all the tools that are required to you, that are required for you to succeed. Is that you need to understand that you need to be able to be quick at browsing. Browse chapters. You don't need to memorize chapters. Browse them to see if you understand. And if a particular section is really in, not comprehensible, just reach out to me as the OT so that we can discuss that particular section. All right. So feel free at any time. So I think for today, we've covered quite enough. The rest, there's quite enough examples, but that will be it for learning unit 4. And in 2 weeks time, we will cover learning unit 5, that will make you 100% ready to complete your assignments too. And we are getting closer and closer and closer to our actual end of the semester. So, but I want you to be quite well prepared. Now, thank you so much, Rabia, and thank you so much, all of you who have, Rabia, for making the time, and all of you who are going to go through this recording. Thank you so much. Just remember again, the things that I've emphasized: know how to reach me, know how to go through your reading, sorry, and everything will be fine for you. So I think we will stop the recording for tonight, uh, and hopefully hear from you, and wishing you the very best for assignment 1. Next week, quick reminder again, next week we're going to have a national session, and that one will not take long, but I would just clarify some of the points, the main issues, and I know the one that you're all waiting for will be the marks. You want to find out how many marks will be going to uh, 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 a section and to another. So I will do so. I will try to be fair in telling you how many marks if you cover this section, how many marks if you cover another section. So that will be it. That will be the most important part of it. It's just to show you how much you need to put in there for you to get a proper distinction and to do very well. So signing out to all of you. Keep well. Bye bye.